Here with Jess Hold. All right, so you've switched into the 3K, and I heard you address it in the press conference, but I'd love to hear all the rationale and what your plans are with the 3K this season.
Yeah, I want to run the 3K in China for World Indoors. I've done that in 2022 and 2024, and it's just for this time of year, the 3K is what makes sense for me. But I don't have the standard, so I need to take care of that. Ideally, could have done that last weekend, but got a bit sick and couldn't line up. I don't really want to stay away from my training base for too long, so I've switched to the 3K this weekend to hopefully take care of business and then head back home.
Are you feeling 100% since this illness?
I'm getting there, yeah. Like day by day, yesterday, I feel better than yesterday, so we're trending up.
So mentally and physically, you had such a breakout year last year, knocking off that many seconds and really like vaulting in the ranks. So how do you kind of follow that up and keep yourself pushing forward and not, having any sort of drop off?
Getting around a room like this is actually a really good help sometimes. I think athletes, we can get in our own head, and it's easy to compare to last year and things. And I think even just listening to Grant and Cole and Yared and Josh just then talk about how they keep things fresh and how they keep things moving forward, it's a good reminder that, you don't have to compare directly to last year, but like I'm still working on some weaknesses and I can improve. But at the same time, like I love this and I'm having so much fun doing it. So I think that just keeps me wanting to come back and to just keep being consistent.
And, you're running the 3K here, but outdoors, you're going to be running a lot more 800s as part of Grand Slam track. So I wanted to hear how the Grand Slam track general will affect your training, your home setup, your focus event-wise. Like, how's that all going to shake out for you?
Yeah, well, event-wise, focus will always be the 15. The 15 is so fast now at that front end that we kind of knew we had identified that the 800 is an area I really need to improve on, because essentially we're going through 800 meters in close to my 800 PR. So my goal with the Grand Slams is to kind of create a bit more discrepancy between that 800 PR and 1500 race pace, and it's just an opportunity to work on my weakness, which has historically been the 8. If I was to do that outside of the Grand Slam, it honestly would be pretty hard for me to get a lane in a lot of 800s because I haven't had a big breakthrough one. The Grand Slam, I get 4 opportunities to really, really work on that, and they're spaced nicely apart, about 3 weeks to 4 weeks between each one, that I can kind of learn from. I'll learn from both events, but definitely from the 800 in Jamaica, and then hopefully by Miami I'm a little bit better, by Philadelphia I'm a little bit better, and then by LA, I've really figured out how to run a good 8.
So are you going to stay in the States throughout the series, or what do you think?
Yeah, I'll run Jamaica and then head home for Australian National Champs. So it's a very tight turnaround, but I've known about that for 6 months and I've had a lot of time to prepare for it. And then once I come back for Miami, I'll remain in North America. And then, basically after Prefontaine, we'll head to Europe. So I'll try and limit the international travel, but for nationals, I've got to prioritize going back to Australia.
As far as the 800, I know you say you're going to learn. Do you have a kind of time in range or kind of a positioning in the world?
I mean, I ran 159.99 last year with pretty little experience and being very raw to like a super competitive 800. So I'd hope that just getting some consistent ones in. I know the 8 is a tricky one for a 15 runner. Sometimes it takes like 2 to 3 to 4 to have a really good one. So I don't want to put a limit on it, but I'd love to run significantly faster than I have,
And you're one of the few athletes, I feel like, that is actually doing World Indoors or wants to do World Indoors. I know you need to qualify. So what kind of goes into that decision? I know you're based across the world, so that's a little different travel-wise, but what made you come to that decision, and talk about your excitement?
I just love racing, and I think that's when you have a long year like this, where the World Champs are in September, you got to do things that excite you. And for me, I love the indoor season. I've got exposed to it through college, and I think just it makes it easy for me to prioritize it because it's exciting to me. It's sustainable when it's exciting, and I always find that base that I put in October, November, December is a lot more intentional when I'm getting ready to do something that excites me. And that's what indoors is for this part of the year.
And I think I've noticed is probably next to the pole vaulters, the women's 1500 probably has the most camaraderie of any event. Though I do have to ask, there's an interesting person coming back, and that's Shelby
Yeah.
Houlihan. You've raced her before. You guys both did Doha final, I think. So what do you kind of think about her return and kind of entering potentially the women's 1500 global scene again?
Yeah, I didn't make that final in Doha.
Oh, sorry,
I was the first
semis.
one out.
Sorry to bring back a bad
No,
memory.
that's okay. I mean, the rules, I have to trust the system, and the rules say that she's allowed to be back now. I haven't raced her. I don't know that I will race her, at least in this short trip in the US, and then we'll see what happens come China. It's an interesting dynamic. The women's 15 has been a really special event to be part of, and yeah, it'll be different to sort of see how everyone responds. But yeah, I trust our governing bodies, and at the moment the rules are that Shelby's back. Yeah.
And as far as the rest of your indoor season, before World Indoors, do you have any other concrete plans for racing?
For the racing, no. I mean, it depends how this weekend goes. I'm going to go home on Sunday to Australia, regardless, and then I will do a training block, 4 to 5 weeks. I'll probably find something in Australia to do another race. I don't really love the idea of going into World Indoors with just one race. I feel like I've raced a lot of races in my life, but I like to be a little more race hardened. So I'll probably try and find something domestically in Australia. And our criteria does require that we run something domestically for World Champ selection. So yeah, I think whatever lines up the most once I get home, get recovered off this trip, and we'll try and find something.
All right, thanks so much.
No worries.